Elevate have risen to new heights with a big win against Okami. They'll be very much happy with themselves. We move on, though, to our second matchup of the night, Wildcard versus Rhythm. And while we thought the first match was going to be close, it wasn't. And we think the second match is not going to be close. Maybe it will be.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We've already had one upset, at least on the Snowball Esport predictions tonight. So maybe we will see yet another.
Potentially, although I gotta say, I don't know if I believe in that voodoo magic if it is going to happen. Big shout out to Rhythm if it does. But Wildcard, of course, heavy favorites coming into this matchup. And for what feels like the first time in a millennia, they're off the back of a defeat, guys. They're looking for redemption.
Yeah, it was quite a disappointing Friday night for the Wildcard roster. They dropped a map to Noble. It was a 7-8 on Cafe, an incredibly close matchup, but a couple of their players not quite stepping up as much as we would expect. But if there's any opportunity to bounce back, it's in this matchup, and surely they'll be able to gain some confidence up against Rhythm.
Oh, wow, you just completely giving Rhythm no chance.
I give them a very, very small chance, a minuscule chance.
No, that's all right. I'm just teasing, just teasing. Look, Wildcard, of course, expected favorites. Vince had an amazing debut in Playday 1. It was a little bit quieter in that Playday, although it was a bit like do for Wildcard against Noble. It was a bit of a stomp at one point. They did almost bring it back. Vince was a bit quieter there. I actually had Gio as probably the best performing player from Wildcard in week 1. We'll see if Gio can sort of bring the same expectations here in week number 2. And look, going up against Rhythm, yes, it will be difficult for Rhythm. I think that for them, the best case scenario here is pushing them to like 5 maps. Like if they can make it a 7-5 loss against Wildcard for Rhythm, I think that would be exceptional. If they win it, then I'll shave the rest of my beard and I'll rock a mustache if Rhythm win this.
Is that a promise? Would
that
you
is
actually do that?
I will do it on stream. Well, not on stream, probably during the break.
All right, I'll shave my mo as well, like another night, if Rhythm actually win this. But in all seriousness, it's going to be a very tricky match. Basically, on paper, at least heading into this season, it's the best team taking on the worst team. So
yeah.
As long as Rhythm can approach this and learn something from this matchup, that's the main thing.
Look, you say the worst team, and unfortunately, one team in Oceanic Nationals is last, and it has to be last. But I think, and this is something I said on the reload, Rhythm, where they're at now versus where the old roster under Kanga was for Six Masters, is in a different path. They're going forward. They're going to have they're actually going to have a lot of losses, but I think the matchups will be a lot closer. I don't think the scorelines will be as one-sided. Sort of going back to Six Masters, in fact, the first map these two teams played was Theme Park, and it was a 7-0 to Wildcard. It was just a stomp. It was really not fun to watch, and quite honestly, it was very one-sided. Probably the most one-sided game I've seen since joining Rainbow, but I think this is where the Rhythm's going to be at. Not only that, but they took Elevate to 8-7, and we've just seen what Elevate have been able to do against Okami. So what does that say for Rhythm here, right? So I think even 7-4 probably is a pass mark for Rhythm here. I don't think that would be a bad result for them. I think anything that's 7-2 and below, that's probably not good enough. But obviously, I guess if you want to go to the long run of this, technically anything over 7-0 is a positive compared to last time that they versed Wildcard.
Yeah, I mean, that said, they did get 2 rounds on them on Coastline, so it wasn't all doom and gloom that night. But
sorry, 14-2, 14-2.
Yeah, definitely not the best result. Yeah, anything above a 7-2 would be great. If they want to continue this upward trajectory that they have established early in the season, that's going to be critical. If they get absolutely pummeled tonight, yes, they can make the excuse it's against Wildcard, but there's no doubt that will stifle the form that they are starting to gain and then looking to maintain. So anything more than a 7-2, a 7-4, 7-5 even, I think would be a very big result for this team. Yeah.
In terms of maps, though, and where this is going to play out, I would be very, very surprised if we go to Theme Park or something that's too out of the ordinary. I think, honestly, at the end of the day, where do you see this one going, guys? Because Cafe, Clubhouse, Villa, that continues to be the stalwarts for OCN. so far this season. Do we go something a little bit different out of the ordinary, or do we just go to something that's a bit of a staple that maybe, I guess for Rhythm, they can just say, you know what, whatever, at this point, we'll just go to something that's not too crazy?
Yeah, of course, you do have the Holy Trinity, those 3 maps, if you want to call it that. The only map outside of that we could potentially see is Coastline, but the fact that Rhythm did perform quite well against Elevate might put a little bit of doubt in the backs of Wildcard's minds. They might not want to take them there and take that risk. Another map as well to highlight that we aren't going to see, I'm almost 100% confident we won't, is Oregon. Neither of these teams have played it. The last time Wildcard played it, they lost 3-7 to the Pittsburgh Knights in the major, and I'm sure they're probably still looking to build upon on that map. And if they have worked on stuff, not give it away in the online season. So we won't head to Oregon, and it will probably be the Holy Trinity plus maybe Coastline.
Plus maybe Coastline. Okay, fair enough. Let's see the bands come out now here. Consulate, Oregon, Villa, Cafe, all gone. There goes Theme Park. At least no repeat on the hands for Rhythm. And it is Coastline. The Holy Trinity +1 ends up being our winner for this matchup between Wildcard and Rhythm. So Coastline will be where we're heading. In fact, it was Coastline where we went to last time between these two teams, was it? On the second map in that best of 2?
Yeah, that was the 2-7. So, pardon me, Wildcard with some good form. I mean, as well as that, they also took down the Pittsburgh Knights in the major grand final in that best of 5. It was a 7-4. That's the most recent result that they have on this map. Before that, though, they'd actually not played it for a very long time. You'd have to go as far back as, in fact, that game against Kanga, or when they were known as Kanga Rhythm then. So, I don't know. Coastline, though, is a weird map. It's not extremely strategic. It plays a lot of gunplay and aggression and synergy. So I'm sure if Wildcard have the gun skill, they'll probably just be able to outgun Rhythm anyway.
Potentially so, as we head over to the Snowball, quote, expert, unquote, prediction panel right now. It hasn't actually been updated, I should say that.
Thankfully.
Raven and Manic should be on 6 apiece. Doesn't seem like we'll be updating that on the fly. And for now, as you said, Gus, thankfully, means you are not. Where would you actually end up being? Like third last? Wow.
I don't like to say third last. I like to say it'd be what, 4th? Yeah, 4th, not third last. 4th sounds better, right? Not good though.
I'm still tied. I'm still tied first, so I'm not too upset. Me and Dev actually still tied now with Manic and Raven. But look, yeah, we're all feeling this one's going to go the way of Wildcard. In saying that, we have been wrong before when we do have the overwhelming one-sidedness in terms of the predictions. But in this case, this is one of those times where even I don't think that this is going to give us too much of a shake-up. If Rhythm were to win this, as I said, I would shave the rest of my beard off. I'll rock the mo for the remainder of the broadcast, and it just won't happen. So I don't even know why I'm saying it.
Yeah, I mean, well, we say that, but if we look even deeper into the results archive, it was actually, funnily enough, Rhythm, then known as Kanga, that took down Wildcard way back when.
Here we go.
Look, there's a glimpse of hope. There's a very small glimpse of hope.
Very small of hope, according to good old Guz, in this matchup between Wildcard and Rhythm. We head to Coastline, bring your swimmers, your sunscreen, and let's go and have ourselves a swim. And what should probably be a repeat of our first match tonight between Elevate and Akami in terms of the scoreline. I think that's probably around the prediction. What was that, 7-3? So roughly 7-3 is probably my median guess here. If I had to have an absolute guess at the scoreline, I'm gonna go 7.
Capital and Ace taken off the board. This will be, of course, the first time Wildcard are playing this map in an official with Ace on the board. Which will no doubt throw a little bit of a spanner in the works. Of course, Ace is incredibly powerful in opening up a lot of these walls, particularly Drinks Wall, which means, of course, that now neither of the defenses need to worry about that a whole lot. Valkyrie to round things off, to deny some of that utility, and Mirror, a pretty usual ban, pretty typical ban here on Coastline. So nothing to me really sticking out in this ban phase, no one wanting to do anything too crazy, and particularly Wildcard not wanting to do anything too crazy. They'd just be looking to play this one quite safe.
Yeah, a bit of information, I guess, taken off the board there with the Mirror Valkyrie band. As you said, Hardbridge, Ace is gone, and it's becoming a theme this season. Ace is sort of just not a hard ban, not every round, not every map, but it's fairly consistent that Ace is one of them that's taken off the board. Hookah and Billiards first up here in the first round. And we are going to be seeing Rhythm attacking first into Wildcard's defense, which I actually can't remember. I was about to take a guess as to the last time these two teams met, Six Masters, who actually did defend first. But I think it might have actually been Wildcard attacking. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. I'm always wrong. In fact, community vote says, though, 87% favoring Wildcard, 13% favoring Rhythm. And, well, they were right last time. So I'll tell you what. If you want a clear picture as to who's going to win this, just listen to the community vote. Don't listen to us.
Well, I mean, we all voted for Wildcard as well.
10 seconds.
So.
Well, I mean, but yes, in terms of the last matchup between Akami and Elevate were favored 58%, and that was the outcome.
We don't talk about that.
Attackers must locate and defuse the bomb.
Don't give any more fuel to the fire for Raven and
we'll
Rob. We know that they have nothing else to talk about, so that's all they're going to talk about on Friday night.
The Raven and Rob podcast
Attackers have located a bomb.
Coming soon.
on Friday. Be there or be square.
I'll be there. I'll be there in chat. Get some Pepe dances in the chat. They have those emotes in now, by the way.
Do they
Everyone.
have Cat Jam?
Yes, they do have Cat Jam. It's so good.
Yes. That is a banger right there.
You could say that's even a Pog champ. Oh, jeez. I'm losing my job, aren't I?
Yep. Now I need to ask you guys, is that bouncing? With the SSJSTICC?
I don't know. Stick might be... No, Stick is their sub. Stick is their sub.
Right, okay.
Yep.
I just thought it was just a bunch of letters. But anyway,
Well, I mean, we can call him SSJSTICC all night if you want, but it'll be a little bit challenging.
That'll be too difficult. Double kill early on here for Rhythm. Great start. Pat, Diesel both eliminated. Lev fighting that opening frag. There's one back at least from Immerant. Vince just waiting for the push from Rhythm. Great start. Drex is low though, so it's not really feeling like the overwhelming favorites for this round. Rhythm. It could very well be 3-3 just about, but of course Drex can still shoot that gun first, potentially. Geo just watching in hallway. Yeah, very low Drex here, but can still have an impact for the remainder of the round.
My turn.
4 and 3. Utility being cleared here by the Zofia. Using the ability of that lifeline as a soft breach utility. Diffuser in hand as well, and could well set up for a default quite soon. There is holes below. Not sure if Wildcard are holding it vertically. That's what I think Novax is double checking for, and it looks to be clear in the meantime. 50 seconds left. It's quite a large window for Rhythm to try and attempt to plant. The sound cue goes out. Wildcard need to try and deny Emo Ring. He could wide swing potentially, but it's covered. That's a great play there from Rhythm. The diffuser's stuck. It's a triple for Leb, and Vinny, left all alone below, needs to try and recover the round, but I don't think it's going to be doable.
There's one. 3 more to go, and actually both Drex both very low in terms of health, so Leb's the main target. Just get that reload going though, Vinny. 18 seconds left remaining. Jumps into Billiards now. There's actually no one really close by at all. And as I say that, Leb just watching and waiting. And Rhythm take the opening round, which is probably huge for their confidence, and coming into Coastline, knowing that they can mix it with Wildcard will be so crucial for the remainder of the season.
And you know what, Xenox?
What's that?
It's not a 7-0.
Well, I didn't think it was going to be a 7-0.
Could have been a 7-0 though.
Well, it could have been. It could be a 7-0 still for Rhythm though. Who's
It
to
could
say
be.
it can't be?
It could be. It could, for sure. I mean, 13% of people in chat think that could be the case.
Locate and defuse
I don't.
bombs.
Well, I don't know if they thought it would be 7-0. They're just saying Rhythm might be able to win.
That's
Don't
also
put
true.
words into their mouths, guys, okay?
Sorry. What if some of them? What if one of them did think it was going to be a 7-0? Surely there's at least one Rhythm fan out there that thinks it's going to be a 7-0. At least one.
Well, they're off to a good start. That's all I could say. Right now, we can't prove them wrong. Wildcard did lose very early on. I think it was Pat and Diesel extremely early into that round. Courtesy of Leb at least finding one. Leb ended up with a 4K in that round too, by the way. Great start for Rhythm, especially on the attack here. But Coastline is one of those maps, guys, where on the attack you kind of can be expected to win rounds a bit more comfortably. Lots of roam potential and moving around the map is really what Coastline is sort of known for.
Big setup offside here from Wildcard. A lot of verticality. Of course, it's a bit of a two-edged sword, a double-edged sword, if you would.
Two-edged sword.
Double-edged sword. I corrected myself. It also does open up more opportunities for a horizontal take here from the attack. And so far, it looks like that's what Rhythm might be at least feeling out at the moment. They can get early control potentially of red, where Vinny's holding. That could open up the whole round.
Oh my
They
God.
already have quick control of office as well. So Vinny is really under the pump early here.
I've just realized it's meant to be Super Saiyan stick, by the way. I don't know how I've only just realized that, but horrible that I've taken that long to figure it out. Drax eliminated early though for Rhythm, down a player. Not ideal for them. Vince, oh, it does spot that one out onto, and guess who? SSJ stick, Super Saiyan mode, not quite activated yet. Vinny's got 3 kills here. Early days in just the second round. And 5-3 advantage now for Wildcard.
A little bit of a standoff as they are still trying to clear this Malusi out. Vincid does have limited HP in the bank, but also a C4, so could pose a big threat later in the round. That's a good pick from Novakes. Not sure where Diesel was positioned, but being able to hold blue is quite critical. That said, I was just about to say, it's so vulnerable to lobby with those footholds, and Geo does capitalize. That control of courtyard is quite critical on this style of defense, and it's paying dividends. Leb now left with it all to do, taken down by Vincier, who was just maintaining control of red so well in that round, and Rhythm just couldn't find the same opening that they did in the last round.
What's a good pun for Geo?
You're asking me. You're the pun master. I'm just here to say stuff about the game. You're the one that's meant to come up with the puns.
Well, all right. Well, you know, you're meant to be my co-cast. Look at that start though from Vinny onto Drex. Yeah, that's just the quick little Vinny replay clip bonanza. But no, 1-1. Good little respite at least from Wildcard in that second round. That was the Wildcard we kind of expect to see throughout the best of one here. But I've got to be completely honest, obviously, this is more of what we expected. The first round from Rhythm was great, don't get me wrong, but how many times were we realistically going to see that here on Coastline? Maybe 2-3 more times? Which I don't think would be a bad thing. That round was a bit one-sided, not going to lie. Didn't really see too much from Rhythm there that suggested that they could have turned it around, but that first round, if they can keep doing that every now and then, lose this 7-4, 7-5, and who knows, maybe I could see Rhythm getting out of the bottom 2 by the end of the season.
I think the pass mark for any underdog on this map starting attack is 3 rounds. Anything less, it's going to be incredibly challenging to then combat the confidence that the opponent has gathered heading in to what is an attacker-sided map. So if Rhythm can maybe get 3 rounds on the board, I could see them at least putting up a decent fight and maybe putting a little bit of pressure back onto Wildcard, but anything less, Wildcard will then head into the attack feeling very, very comfortable, and this map relies a lot on being able to play comfortably, so it's important that Rhythm do get those on the board.
But the last time these two teams played Coastline, was it? I swear it was like 2-2. And then Wildcard just won like the 5 rounds after that to win 7-2. Maybe there's just something about... And look, to be fair, very different team as well for Rhythm, although they had 3 players because Novakes was playing by then, if I recall. It was a while ago. But of course they got Stick subbing in for tonight as well.
Well, actually, Kanga didn't win a single attack last time they played this map against Wildcard, so...
They did it on defense.
Yeah, it was 2 defensive rounds, which is quite bizarre, but it is what it is.
Well, that's obviously a really good sign for them that they did find one attacking round early on. But as you mentioned, Gus, they're going to want to try and find at least another one or two at minimum. No, Novakes. Diffuser in hand. On that Sophia. Currently second floor, minute 30 seconds remaining. Bit more verticality here in this third round. Last round was all about that horizontal play. Just trying to see the way that Wildcard is set up. It seems like they're just primarily set up on the horizontal play here.
Well, the thing is, Rhythm are playing heavy above, and Wildcard have the perfect utility to deny that. They probably have 3 C4s at least on the board. One of those just going off and not finding its mark. Pat as well on the pulse, finding a lot of intel. So Wildcard will know where they are. I mean, we can see Pat now. He's just giving out the calls to where these players are positioned. And Vince here maybe trying to flank that, taken down by the Claymore as Pat tries to climb up the C4s. So as I say that, Wildcard's actual usage of the C4s and capitalizing on this intel has been quite weak, and maybe Rhythm can try and exploit that and convert this execute.
Nice gas canister onto the Vax just to deny that. In fact, Stick's going to be eliminated by Emerin.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Pat still just proving to be a nuisance at Cool Vibe stairs. Diesel's been taken down by Lev. 4 versus 3 now in favor of Rhythm. Although back over at Cool Vibes, it should be Pat coming up to get Leb. Leb is dead. Drek's going to get that diffuser down now with 8 seconds left. We'll be able to do it in time. The Vax, though, eliminated by Geo, pushing on in, but does go down to Boats. Nice refrag coming out immediately. 40 seconds now for Emerin. And a 1 versus 2 against Drex and Boats and Hose. It's just the sort of map Boats and Hose usually would be doing well thematically. And so far, Drex does pick up that kill on Emerin. Rhythm, 2-1 lead.
Couple of key mistakes made from Wildcard in that round. They had, as I mentioned, the C4s and the intel just unable to play off that effectively. Maybe a little bit antsy on the C4s to get those off as they didn't quite find their mark. And we also saw Vincier, who probably was going for a flank up above, taken down by a Claymore. So couple of misplays there from Wildcard. It was a great execute in the end from Rhythm to stick it and being able to hold on in that round. So that's 2 for them. Maybe 1 off what I thought would be the pass mark. It's already 2 more compared to what they got last time they played Wildcard.
You know what,
so that is
Gus?
already a big step up.
Forget about pass mark. Forget about honorable loss. Throw all that out the window. We've got a game on our hands.
When I say pass mark, I'm saying pass mark to
No.
get any chance of winning the map, not just to build momentum. If they win 3 rounds at least on the attack, I could say that they might be able to win the map, not just put in an admirable effort.
I like that. We're on the same page here. That's good. That's
Of
good.
course we are, because we have that synergy, Xenos.
Synergy. Yeah. Well, what I'm trying to sort of point out here is, look, if Rhythm get 1 more here, they meet your pass mark, and then they meet my pass mark, but you just wonder if Wildcard might just drop their hands a little bit. Mentally, of course, they had their first loss at the highest level of competition here in Australia for many months.
Attackers are hitting.
You wouldn't have thought they would lose 2 in a row, let alone to Rhythm. God, that actually sounded really bad with the way I said it like that. I like Rhythm.
I can already see people in chat. Bias cast, I think
That's-
Rhythm going to win. What the hell? It's only round 3.
God. Stop.
Come on, Xenox. It's only it's only been 3 rounds played, forehead.
And look, I'm excited. I think Rhythm started really well here. And this is really what kind of I've been saying both on the reload and tonight in the pre-show, that Rhythm, while they are still going to get a lot of losses this season, their matches in-game will be a lot closer. They're looking better, and there's a lot of really good signs for this roster. And right now, they're just proving that for me. So I have no qualms at all with my stance on Rhythm.
The important thing for Wildcard as well is to not think that they can get away with things just because they are taking on Rhythm. They still need to respect their opponents to some extent and not play anything too ridiculous here. Wildcard so far have been playing quite an extensive roam around the map, and it hasn't really paid dividends as of yet. I mean, an example of this here is Emorin down below. Of course, he doesn't have a C4 on the Jaeger, so he's looking for gunfights as Leb gets his head taken off. So Jetstar is going to be a little bit critical of that roam. Emorin does show up, and Rhythm now at the man disadvantage also need to be mindful of their flanks.
That was just dirty from Imran. How dare you break down my hatch?
Attackers have located a bomb.
How is Rhythm going to deal with the disadvantage though? Still time on the clock to just sort of weasel their way forward into this round. Maybe look to take a bit of an advantage back. Avax though just getting confident. Hello there
Attackers have
indeed.
dropped the bomb diffuser. Attackers recovered the
General
bomb
Kenobi.
diffuser.
I'm not surprised that you came in with that
You know,
one.
that's the second week now we've made that joke in a row somehow.
Is it? Oh,
yeah,
we can
we
just
had
go
it on Cafe last week, I'm pretty sure.
Reloading.
every week. It'll just become that theme. Boats just right behind Avax and Drex. They probably feel like they're being watched right now. Pat just below. Actually, not just below. In the other room, just below. He's below someone.
Doesn't have a C4 though, so needs to be using this shotgun effectively. Geo on site though shuts one down. And Pat is in a great position, but as I mentioned, no C4. And if Rhythm push deep, which they have, the denial will be challenging, but they could just over-aggress on this defense, find those picks. They do. Wildcard to shut down the round. Rhythm, unfortunately, with that man disadvantage, found the rest of the round incredibly challenging to get back into.
Man, that was just a really well played game by Wildcard though. It's almost like they just funneled Rhythm into this specific location like a trap. And great, now they're there. Now let's collapse on them from 3-4 different angles. You could just see the crossfires come out, and there was sort of just nothing that Rhythm could do from that position, that situation. And that's why they looked hesitant as they were slowly walking onto the site. Wildcard just playing that one perfectly for Hookah and Billiards. Much better than the opening round, which was on Billiards as well. So good signs for Wildcard. Plucky team, the underdog, tie it up 2-2.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Kitchen defense now. Alibi on the board. I'm a big fan of that. Alibi is actually quite useful on this site. Those prisoners can be used to shut down and prevent some of the longer angles into this side. Of course, you've got the long angle through service, through the bars. You've also got the kitchen window as well. And you can even place one inside of red bar, even if you want to hold that, or blue bar, for
Bomb
example.
located by
If
attackers.
Wildcard do want to extend, and it looks like they obviously will. They have done in a lot of these other rounds. In terms of what extension they'll commit to, difficult to say. We saw it quite horizontally last time.
5
Yes,
seconds.
vertically rather last time, and horizontally maybe on this occasion. So keen to see how Rhythm deal with it. They struggled last time filtering through red bar. Maybe they'll try and go above this time.
Comes down to obviously how Wildcard are going to set up for this round as well. Which, judging by this, they are going to have that vertical aspect. Just try and deny Rhythm that verticality, try and funnel them in from a specific location. Wildcard just primed for this kitchen service. They won it last time in the second round. They're looking to do so again, which if they can do that, will be the first time in this series, in this best of one, this 5-round matchup that a team wins 2 in a row. Can you believe it?
Good here from Jer, protecting him from this push. It's a heavy push from Rhythm, trying to burn that utility to clear the shield as Geo narrowly avoids the flash, pushing back now deeper in towards theater. This is a decent start for Rhythm in trying to clear some of this utility, but there's a lot of it to clear. In fact, as Emorin's also holding the 90 position. The question is, will Rhythm actually continue to dedicate to this, because time is running down? They need to be careful they don't dedicate it all to here, otherwise they'll have none left for the execute.
You also don't want to give up on it too early, though, because then if you do go for that execute, you're going to be in a bit of a tricky situation because you don't have any vertical control at all. But 1, 2, 3, 4 means they've only got one. That's even really trying to get a bit of pressure up on top. And even then, I don't see where that's coming from. So in terms of the battle for that second floor, Wildcard firmly in control. They've also got players on site. Definitely in the first minute or so, guys, it's a Wildcard right now. Rhythm haven't been able to get anything, and it'll probably just come down to that old sort of classic funnel. Never mind. Stick does get Vinny with the opening frag, and with 50 seconds left, that does just change the entire tide for this round.
Geo with a critical pick to find front door, narrowly misses that player. Gunfight ensues, both players miss. Novakes now going for the play at Wildcard, seemingly distracted, but Pat's not. Manages to find that first pick. Courtyard hasn't been cleared here by Rhythm. The refrag does eventually hit the mark though from Boats. They can now collect that diffuser, try and go for the plant.
Geo.
That's a big pick as well from Stick. Surely Wildcard can't deny it now.
Yeah, just couldn't get back behind the pillar in time. Drex is going to stick that diffuser now. 3 versus 1. Rhythm, as soon as they got that opening frag, they just flicked a switch and they went go. And they've taken their 3rd round here on Coastline. And they've looked impressive doing it as well.
Leb getting that final pick as well. Been a solid map from him so far. Leb, of course, a player that's transitioned more into a frag-heavy role. Back end of 6 Masters 20 and heading, of course, now into OCN. Still getting some nice numbers on the board. And, I mean, critically as well, Rhythm now reaching that 3-round threshold. If they can get a 4-2, then, I mean, it's on now. It could be real close.
Well, it's on already.
I mean, provided Wildcard don't head into the attack after this round and just blow Rhythm out of the water, this is going to be a lot closer than I think most people imagined.
Definitely agree with you there. I did predict 7-3 to Wildcard.
Attackers need to locate.
So I've got the 3 right for now. But the way that this is playing out, I would actually be more surprised if Rhythm don't find another round or 2 from here and the Wildcard to win 5 in a row, which is really hard to believe I'm even saying that right now, but credit to Rhythm. They've been super impressive. But how much of it is Rhythm's looking impressive versus maybe Wildcard just floundering a little bit here on Coastline and not being as methodical and lacking that execution down the stretch?
I mean, it's tricky to say
Yeah.
Coastline because there's a lot
Bit of
going
both.
on. I feel like I'm almost getting the impression that maybe Wildcard have headed into this one a little bit too structured, whereas Rhythm have kind of just gone in and gone, hey, we'll just give it whatever we can and adapt on the fly. So Wildcard maybe need to be a little bit looser in their playstyle and adapt a little bit more. Traditionally, Wildcard have been able to adapt to their opponents, but I mean, with only 1 round to go in this half before the change of sides and the change of playstyle, maybe it's come a little bit too late. Hard to tell, of course, because it is only the first half, but a little bit of a warning sign potentially for Wildcard, but I am guessing they'll recover at least at some point heading into that second half.
Bit more aggressive positioning there from Vinny for the meantime. Up close against Stick. Could be an early engagement between the 2 of them. Vinny's been well, though. He's been winning a lot of his fights. Lightnade not going to have much of an impact. Just shoot through the wall. Just doesn't quite stick it, though, onto Stick. Vinny, though, expecting the crossfire, expecting where that's going to come from, and has a bit of information. The Vex, so great angle onto Vinny. Felt like there was like 3 eyes, or 3 sets of eyes, guys, on Vinny there. He was up against it, and Rhythm are in the driver's seat to take a lead into the second half.
Emo in above though. Dangerous player.
Bomb located
Hasn't
by
had the
attackers.
biggest half so far, but could go big here. Oh, that would have been a big pick. Falls back now to VIP. Wildcard trying to maintain this control above and control of Courtyard. We see Pat here with the angles in towards that blue bar. Rhythm trying to shut this down. They themselves actually finding themselves now in that position. Of course, that's not sight. Still a long way to go before they make themselves known inside of Kitchen, but establishing that control and pushing Pat back is quite critical.
Just feel that serious tone has fallen upon us in this matchup. Rightfully so. Credit to Rhythm. They've really brought it. They're playing very fluid. As you said, Wildcard structured. Is that going to be what brings them back into this, though? Geo and Novakes basically just went toe for toe there. Walk out with about the same health apiece. Geo, though, just caught by Leb, who's been so impressive. 7 frags now. 4 versus 3s. Pat gets one back on the Maestro, on the Novakes, who was, of course, quite low. Didn't take much. Boats, though, with the refrag. 4-2 in this particular round is about to be 4-2 in the particular match, though, as Drax gets Diesel. Emerin probably can't expect him to just get it all done by himself here to close out the half. It's destined from here. That Rhythm are going to take a 4-2 lead against Wildcard here on Coastline. Best of one. No time. And a shot to the head by Leb into Emerin. 4-2 at the half. What is going on here?
Gee whiz, this has actually turned into quite the intriguing matchup. 4-2 heading into the half. Fantastic work there from Rhythm. Wildcard now need to bring that attacking prowess that we expect from them into this second half. We know they like a long wind-up and then going for late round executes. It's up to Rhythm to try and disrupt that play style. Maybe play a little bit looser, try and find an early pick. Head themselves into these late rounds with the advantage. And then all they need is 2 rounds at least on the defense to head it to OT.
Attackers need to locate
It's a huge half from them, and I'm sure their confidence will be flowing. I don't know what their expectations would have been heading into this one, but a 4-2 half surely was on par, or at least exceeding those expectations.
That's definitely
Maybe they were really confident. Maybe they, I don't know. Maybe they were expecting a 6-0 half. Sure, probably not, but.
Well, there's still that one person in chat who wanted the 7-0 to Rhythm, as you said. Not quite there, but it's a lot closer to it than against it, and that's a massive sign for Rhythm. Of course, as we switch halves, this is where, and we've seen it time and time again, guys, where storylines can change pretty quickly at the switch of the half, where it can go from this Rhythm express train to then Wildcard sort of taking over the driver's seat, right? And especially on a map like Coastline, typically on a lot of the other maps, you would switch in the defender, and you'd be thinking that Rhythm would be able to just run away with it from here. But on Coastline, Wildcard, if they just lose a bit of that structure, open themselves up, a bit more fluidity, you would think that they should just be as impressive on the attack here as well.
Common drone spot there from Geo, spotting out Stick, trying to hold red bar. We saw Vinny, for example, hold this quite efficiently, quite dangerously for Wildcard in the first half, but Stick rather needs to be careful of Geo's drone. My word, Vinny quickly sweeping through, taking him down. That's the entry that Wildcard need in these attacking rounds, and they got it with ease.
Great start for Wildcard. They probably need to win these little battles as well, just to keep their minds at rest. Obviously, if Wildcard were to lose this matchup, it's not season defining for them. It probably is for Rhythm, but you would still be very much fine with Wildcard making playoffs. I think for Wildcard, if they do in fact lose this, the seeding battle towards the back end of the season is going to be so tight as to who's going to finish top, second, third, for instance. And as sort of Digital said in the interview earlier, the seeding is so important. So for Rhythm, are they about to blow open this entire season? Pat just watching cool vibes, waiting for one to push down Geo's there as well for a quick refrag if need be.
Minute on the board, Wildcard looking to clear out this key position, maybe even just trade it out if they need to. Efficient clear of the barbed wire, or that wide swing. Not quite hitting the mark there for the defense. And he finds a double. It's really falling apart here. Leb needs to go big here on Cool Vibe stairs and find a pick here. Oh, falls off at the wrong moment though. Taken down off the board from Diesel. This round slipping away.
Yeah, it's one of those just rounds where Wildcard methodically have just had every angle, had every position. And there's still 35 seconds left on the clock. I'm not going to lie. I kind of felt like there was less time. That round felt like it went forever, but technically it didn't. Flawless round, and that's a great response from Wildcard here to start the second half.
That's the response Wildcard would have been looking for. Great way to kick off the half. Back to the drawing board for Rhythm. They're going to head now to Blue Bar Sunrise. They're pretty proficient on the attack on this site. Could well be the same on the defense. Time will tell. Interesting pick from Leb onto the dock. Maybe looking to play a bit
Run out?
of an aggressive roamer, or yeah, run out potentially. Doc doesn't have the ACOG anymore, so something to keep in mind.
It's true.
Does have the 2x though, I think. Could be wrong. We'll have to see. Can we please spectate Leb so I can
locate and defuse bombs.
see if I'm right or wrong? Leb, pull out your gun. Ah, he's probably not going to. Well, that's a shame. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, you're right. It doesn't have the ACOG anymore, but still play a roam position. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just remember Coastline certainly was a Doc favorite, being able to do a couple of cheeky spawn peaks. Feel like now it's just about to be the Leb show for the next 30, 40 seconds. What have you done, guys?
5 seconds
Yeah,
left.
let's get to work. Reinforce those walls.
Attackers
Watching
need
every
the
to
Leb
move.
show.
locate a
It's
bomb.
like Big Brother. Here we go.
It's a 1.5. Ah, I was wrong. Yeah, I thought
Same-
it was 1.5.
w-
I don't know why you said that.
But that's the idea there, isn't it? He's just cheeky from Leb. Yeah. Close. That was very close. Maybe with the ACOG would have hit that, but such is life.
Bomb located
How does
by
Leb play the
attackers.
remainder of this round now? That's the Dog. Just defense.
Probably be running around quite a bit. Yes, he's a 1 speed, but still some maneuverability. Leb's job will really just be trying to take gunfights. If he does lose a little bit of HP in them, he can then just stim himself back up. So the more aggressive he plays, particularly in the early round, the more Rhythm will benefit from that pick. But his position is polar opposite to where Wildcard are pushing from. It's a full office take at the moment. And I mean, Wildcard could be in a position to plant quite soon. They often don't go for those sorts of plays, as Leb actually using a really tight angle there on the box. Unable to find that pick, but Rhythm have rotated around in time, so both teams playing quite well so far in this round.
Yeah, very quick as well to maneuver. And Coastline can very much be like that. Getting close to the bomb site very early on into these rounds. Leb, as you said, almost had that angle. I feel like Leb could have had 2 kills already in this particular round. Not to be. Wildcard's the kind of team that will punish you as well if you don't take your chances when you have them, even if they are very minor chances. Diesel just taking a bit of damage. Not sure where that was from. Just in front of Emerin here. Keeping an eye from Office. Vax on the other side. Trax as well. It's like a 2v2 just watching on into blue. That's going to be a fake plant from Diesel just to get at least a nade or a gas canister, and ended up getting both.
Minutes ago on the board, positions being held here from Wildcard. Vinny on the window, quite keen, shutting down the rotator. Those gas canisters are really delaying the plant, but I mean, there's still plenty of time, and if Wildcard can find picks like that, it only makes life easier, especially once that plant goes down.
No
Denial
more.
is going to be critical from Rhythm.
No more gas canisters either, just on that subject. 3 versus 4 as Leb gets at least a refrag onto Vinny. Diffuser does go down thanks to Diesel. Now they've got eyes on it as well with Emeron. So 2 on that side over towards Office. 40 seconds left here
Defenders have eyes on the
in this
diffuser.
8th
Attackers
round.
protected.
4-3 overall. Can Rhythm bite back here after losing the first round of this second half?
Attackers have located a bomb.
Wildcard are just well set right now, though.
Oh no.
Doesn't get it sneakily. In fact, is stopped by Diesel. And that's going to be the round done.
Good post plant there from Wildcard. Position themselves up nicely to defend against that counter defuse. Good refrag in the end as well. And the success of that round, I feel, was really off the back of the early control gained by the attacking side of Office. It was only a minute into the round, and they basically had full control of that side of the map. The wall was being opened, and they could take their time to set up the players on the cross from lobby, from the blue bar window. Plant went down eventually, albeit a little bit delayed because of those gas grenades, or gas canisters, but still plenty of time to work with. And it always feels that way when Wildcard are attacking. They seem to just have so much time when they are going for these executes.
Well, that's 2 in a row now for Wildcard after we saw Rhythm get 2 in a row to close out the first half. They took that 4-2 lead. We were just sort of oohing and ahhing and wondering, have we got ourselves sort of maybe the story game of the season? It still feels like that since it's 4-4. And, you know, if you had have told either of us guys prior to this game starting that at one point it would be 4-4. I think we both would have been a bit shocked to see that. Not totally surprised, but definitely would not have expected it. And this is where Rhythm are being tested though. And this is where they need to find one back now. Otherwise, it could very well be Wildcard that just go on that role that they so evidently do many times throughout Six Masters, and probably how many times they'll do it in Oceanic Nationals as well. Hard to count, but they can just get 4 or 5 round wins in a row.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Web hunting drones, critical here on Coastline. Those drones can be used to make rotating even more challenging on this map. In some respects, this setup is mirroring that of Wildcard. And oh my god, it's actually a rush. Diesel already there inside of Kegs, getting that plant down. No denial from Rhythm, and surely Wildcard can hold on. That said though, it is a 5-on-3.
Joe just holding left side here though in toilets. Will it be checked or not? Diesel gets Novakes, was not checked by Boats and Hose. Ema are able to get Lab as well, and so far Rhythm are just walking into a firing range. One on site, one outside. Drex, the solo, is right on top of the diffuser, just throwing out these gas canisters to delay, buy time, get onto that diffuser. Doesn't buy enough time. Geo just walks straight through, and what a rush round from Wildcard. They take the lead here on Coastline.
Round 10. Wildcard now with the lead, looking to just consolidate that, continue to roll on this momentum and close out the map. That said, I still think there is a window of opportunity for Rhythm to win a round, maybe 2. Get us closer to overtime. Big round from Geo. It was looking very, very dicey there for Wildcard, but they're able to hold on.
Well, Geo's just left, has just picked up where he left off last week, which is just so impressive as a player for Wildcard, especially stepping up in the absence of Ethan, obviously, who's no longer part of the roster. And Vinny's been great as well. A seamless transition for Vinny. But Geo has just been, I think, on a different level so far for Oceanic Nationals compared to the rest of his teammates. 3 rounds in a row for Wildcard here on Coastline. They've had a scare. Rhythm have probably shocked them back into form. They've given them a reason to pick up the pace a little bit here. And maybe they just did start that a little bit sluggish in the first couple of rounds. Maybe not expecting Rhythm to come out the blocks. Maybe expected Rhythm to be a bit more structured, like you said, in the first 2-3 rounds.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Vegas setting up for a spawn kill. That would be a great way to open up the round, but also has its inherent risks. Fortunately for Wildcard, maybe unfortunately if they could have found the pick, no one has spawned that eastern side outside of the map. Everyone actually attacking from the west. It's a split from above and below. And Leb is really the only player from Rhythm to try and hold off this initial push, and it seems like he has already been scared away quite early. If Wildcard can get early control of red and even blue bar, then that mounts the rest of their attack quite nicely.
The same side as well, chosen by Rhythm. Kitchen service, so obviously they wouldn't have been expecting the rush again, but you've got to just, you're never sure, right? So you put 2 on site just to make sure, but then you're giving up that verticality to Wildcard. Little drive-by from Pat to Boats.
Bomb located by attackers.
Very scared from Rhythm in this round. I feel like Wildcard could collapse on them quite easily from the positions that they have established. With still half the round to go, mind you. Rhythm do at least have some nice control above, and Wildcard, I think, may try and pressure that out now. Is Stick and Boats. Novakes as well down below and towards lobby. Does feel a little bit like Wildcard have stalled just in this little phase of the round, but That might not matter. Diesel's actually outside, maybe even ready to just jump in here. The gas canister is delaying it momentarily, but the second he's able to jump in, it's going to be very difficult to deny.
Yeah, it definitely feels like Wildcard are set up for this push in the next 20, 30 seconds or so, and then they can all just collapse in and establish some good positions as well. Up on that second floor, looking for any roamers that want to come in at the last second. Leb trying to just time this C4 perfectly for the expected push. 35 seconds remaining, and still we haven't really had any engagements whatsoever. So both teams just have to be wondering and asking so many questions. Diesel finally pushed in and tried to make a play for Wildcard. There was the reinforcements that were there though for Rhythm, and they held their nerves, guys. They held their positions, and it's Wildcard who was the first to blink. They made the push, and an unsuccessful one at that. Bad timing from Emerin. Fortunately, has one on the right side. Can get that one. Goes to the second. 2 in a row from Emerin. Quick headshots, but there's no time to get this diffuser down. 2 versus 1. Rhythm are going to win the round. Almost a clutch moment from Emerin.
Almost, but not meant to be. Wildcard in that round, falling short with about a minute to go, just clearing some of those positions, and didn't leave themselves with much of an opportunity to try and get that plant down. And when they did, Rhythm, as you mentioned, held their nerves, found those picks, and it almost slipped away here, just in this little play, but there was only 5 seconds left on the board at that moment in time. The rest of the team could just hold on. And I mean, on the topic of holding on, Rhythm have being able to keep that scoreline 5-5. Yeah, that's mightily impressive.
Well, they're in a position to win this. And that might just be a daunting thought for Rhythm, is that when you're in this sort of position, can you come through, complete the job? Maybe the first couple opening rounds, I almost called you Dev, I don't know why. Because I just read
that would have been an insult. Whoa.
He's on my mind, okay? I miss him. But anyway, the first couple of rounds, Rhythm can play with that flexibility, and there's no expectations, right? They've got literally no expectations. And then you make it 5-5 Guz, and maybe just expectations creep in a bit, where it's like, hey, we can win this now. And we now could be in an expected position to win.
The belief is there, anything is possible. It's probably fair to say that the pressure is maybe somewhat more on Wildcard. They're fighting for their position in the playoffs, and then of course the position in the major to earn the points to make 6th Invitational. That's not to say that there's no pressure on Rhythm. Of course, they're still potentially battling to avoid relegation. It's really a balance of which one weighs more heavily. In some respects, they're probably quite close, quite evenly matched. Some would argue that, of course, but it depends what camp you're on, I guess.
Match point on the other side of this for, obviously, either team. I almost want to go out on a limb and say whoever wins this round may actually then go on and win that match point. Rhythm with the confidence to get the job done, match point. Wildcard maybe just letting this one slip away, but if Wildcard win this round, then just to close the door on Rhythm in quick succession. Still, regardless from here, at minimum, it's a 7-5 for Rhythm, which is past the pass mark that we set out for them. So this bodes well for their season, but can they find the win? It certainly matters a lot more. You don't get anything for an honorable loss other than, I guess, map differential is not going to be too bad. Vince still just repelling. Stick watching that window, though. Not going to move from this position. Does not want to get caught in a crossfire. Minute 20 seconds remaining, and it's just paramount that Rhythm don't lose any members over the next 30, 40 seconds.
Drones being flicked here. Wildcard not wanting to be flanked late into this round as Vinny on the rappel manages to get the first there onto Stick. The diffuser is positioned on the balcony, so we're expecting Diesel likely to try and run in, try and get that plant behind the couch. The vast position, quite critical in denying that, is now being blown open by those ex-Kairos as Pat finds another as well. Wildcard aren't too far away from committing to this execute. Just need to probably get main window control. They have. Now they should be able to convert this round.
Yeah, 2-5 as well now. Drex and Boats are in a very, very tough situation from here. Nice little run out though from Boats onto Geo. Still down 2 players though in comparison, although Pat is injured at the moment. Vince still repelling from the window. Drax will at least confirm Pat before being eliminated by Immorin. Boats is in the, what I would say, 1 and 2.5 position, because Immorin, you could breathe on him and he'll fall over. Diesel's just going to get this plant down in billiards. All right, now Boats pushing up cool vibes. Although the position is known, Immorin very low health. Does not take much to take him down. Boats, though, has started taking a bit of damage, and in a 1 versus 3 situation, Diffuser down as well. This is as tough as it can be for Boats. Oh,
Boats
timing.
creeps forward. Surely taken down is. Wildcard take the round. Key round at that. Scoreline, of course. Now be 6-5. Wildcard on match point. We've only seen Rhythm win the 1 defense in this second half. We saw Wildcard in the first half win 2. If that trend continues, well, we'd head to overtime. Do Rhythm have what it takes here on Blue Bar and Sunrise? They haven't managed to win this site yet from 1 attempt. So the odds might be against them.
Well, they did win it on the attack. This has actually been the site we've seen the least so far in this matchup. They won it on the attack. They lost it on the defense. The only 2 times we've seen it. When they won it on the attack, though, they opened it up with the initial frag from Nevaix. And so, again, it's just having that initial frag is so important, especially for a team like Rhythm. I think Wildcard is the kind of team that can come back from 4 versus 5. It's not impossible for them. But from this position, this is the 3rd time we're going to see Blue Bar Sunrise. What does Rhythm have to win this? Do they look for another spawn pick? I think we've seen it twice now from them, both times unsuccessful. They change it up. Do they look for more verticality? Maybe they're just allowing Wildcard too much of that. Or do they go for a heavy turtle? Play for that 30-second execution madness and just hope that you win your 50-50s. Send it to OT.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Time will tell. Echo pick here from Nevaix.
Objective is to locate a bomb and
Probably not a bad adaptation. It's not often we see Echo on a Coastline defense just because of how difficult it is to find somewhere just to sit and actually be proactive on that drone and be productive on that drone. On the flip side though, Wildcard have been committing quite heavily to these plants and trying to stick them. So if smoke in Drex can delay time like they did last occasion, those Yokai drones could be quite critical in forcing Wildcard into fragging out late round, and I'd probably have to back Rhythm in that scenario if it does come to that.
Sticking Boats just on the 2nd floor, looking for a frag from someone entering that window. Gio's already inside, running around through the hallway. I mean, it's very easy to say whoever sort of gets the first kill is going to have a big advantage. Just feels like that's what Rhythm probably need more than Wildcard. If Wildcard lose 1, round certainly nowhere near over, but I just get that feeling that if Rhythm lose 1 early, they're not going to have the numbers to repel the attack from Wildcard.
The Yokai drone as well has been spotted out by Pat there. We saw it moving across the sensor. So Wildcard are aware of that Yokai drone being in play, and that's something they'll be ready to deny when it gets to that late round. Meanwhile, they're still struggling, clearing out top cool vibes here. The shield position from Boats on the Wamai proving to be very costly in terms of time and utility here for Wildcard. Still yet to properly clear it. Stick as well manages to get down the hatch without losing their life. Boats as well. So they're both low on HP, but there's only a minute left now for Wildcard to convert the round.
Yeah, but they're both left now, so Wildcard have got a minute, and that vertical control is finally theirs. And basically, Boats and Stick are just about may as well have been eliminated. Obviously, they can still make an impact, so it's better than being dead as they sort of overwhelm that cool vibes section of the map. 55 seconds remaining, match point for Wildcard. It's been a lot closer than they would have liked to have been. Rhythm has still got 5 up, though. Despite the fact that Stick and Boats are very low on health, they can just hold a more defensive position, wait for Wildcard to make a play. Drex, does he go off of this? No, can't. Didn't quite get the visual information he would have liked. Gio does get Stick, who was very low. Boats is the other one That is low here for Rhythm. 30 seconds remaining. They're going to need a couple of frags early on once Wildcard start to push in.
Ping 2.0 on display. Yoko Drain spotted. Diesel, I think, managed to shoot one as well. That's critical as Geo has been down. Not a lot of time left, though, to try and get this plant down. 15 seconds left. Diffuser in the hands of Diesel. Does find the pick, though. Needs to rush in. Needs to stick it here. Any denial from Rhythm here would be massive.
Oh, he can deny it, though. The Yokai drone, Vax does stop it at the last second. 5 more seconds. Geo's still down. Pat is eliminated by Boats. They're going to win the round, Rhythm. The Yokai drone, the Echo in the end was the difference maker. They send it to OT. Cuz, Rhythm, Wildcard, overtime.
I'm not quite sure what the players are talking about in chat there, but the Yokai drone that managed to deny the plant from what we could see was the one that was actually spotted by Vinci using 2.0. It seemed that Diesel took out the first one and the second one was still left standing, able to deny that plant on the couch. So, I mean, Rhythm managed to hold on to that round. Very close one, but oof, I can't believe we're actually saying this. We're actually going into OT between Wildcard and Rhythm. The one match tonight, we're probably expecting to be the most one-sided.
To be fair, what did I say, guys, when we sort of started talking about this matchup? I said that the earlier matchup between Akami and Elevate was going to be close. It wasn't. And that this one was not going to be close, and now it is. And I called it. What did I say? Prophet. Clairvoyant.
Caster cursing ourselves with our predictions, potentially.
Well, I mean, I don't like if Rhythm win, I don't care about the prediction because we all voted for Wildcard, so it doesn't bother me. But I'm just really happy that, and this is what I've been saying on the reload. It's what I said last week. It's what I've been saying this week. Is that Rhythm, while they're going to be hard pressed to find these wins, their in-game performances are going to be so much better, and that just keeps proving it right here. And what is a very good game from them right now on Coastline against Wildcard. They've sent it to overtime. While they didn't find themselves with that match point, now at least sending it to overtime, and regardless of what happens from here, even if they do lose this match, it's really good for their map differential and the confidence as well of the team, knowing if you can push a team like Wildcard, who's to say you can't then find, some wins against well lesser teams against Wildcard. So I think from here, this is already like a mini victory for Rhythm. It's like, can they now get the real win? You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And looking forward later in the season, on the topic of maps, I don't really see too many other teams wanting to risk taking Rhythm now to Coastline, because this is 2 weeks straight where they've actually headed it to overtime. Last match, of course, against Elevate, that was an 8-7 victory to Elevate in the end. But to take these two strong teams to overtime in 2 consecutive games is a really strong performance. So, yep. I mean, it's probably not too relevant in terms of this match, but looking ahead, I don't think too many other teams will risk heading to Coastline against Rhythm.
No, I would agree with that, and I think it's also why we see the Holy Trinity, apparently, as you like to call it. I'm going to keep calling it that, but yeah, I tend to agree. I think this is obviously going to be a map that a lot of teams will look at against Rhythm and be like, that's now on the ban list, right? Because the way that they've been able to play it, not so much just the result, but the way that they're playing it really suits this map in particular, less structured compared to a lot of the other maps, Clubhouse, Cafe, Villa, etc. So it's probably not too much of a surprise to see them doing this well, but I think it's just more, I seriously thought it was going to be like 7-4, 7-5 in favor of Wildcard, but just when you have a matchup that is around that 7-4, 7-5 mark, it's not too surprising that it can go to 6-6. That's just, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, the nature of best of ones, a 7-5 is a very, very close result, even if it doesn't head into overtime. A result that does go into overtime is extremely close, because in this format, we don't get to see if maybe there's a second map that Wildcard could blow Rhythm out of the water, and that would give us an indication that Wildcard are the better team. It's just based off this one map, and I don't know what the starting sides will be for OT. I can't quite remember if we saw it or not. Was it Rhythm on the attack? It could be. I
don't even think we saw it.
I mean, if Rhythm are on the attack, then this is going to be very, very spicy.
I mean, I think it's going to be spicy regardless.
Yeah.
which is really good. And I'm just, as I said, very chuffed to see this match play out the way it has, because it also it's really good as well for the competition. It's really good for OCE as well when what's regarded as the best team and what's regarded as the worst team having a close affair like this, compared to Six Masters, where we saw a 7-0 to 7-2, and that was sort of really overwhelming the top and bottom team. The close and the evenness of this competition is here on display in this particular match. The way that Elevate was able to sort of discard Akami as well sort of displayed that even further, that even the teams that are supposed to be close to each other, and yet you got that discrepancy and what can happen. And probably a lot of it is also the nature of best of ones and what they can throw up. I think we'd be lying if we didn't say by the end of the season, sure, there would have been some matches where a team won the first map but would have lost the second map. It's just a given. We don't know where those would have been, but this has still been so far a season that has just thrown up everything, and we don't know where it's going to land.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the nature of the best of one veto as well puts really heavy emphasis on what map you actually end up going to, because the season is so compact. You're playing 2 matches a week as well. That leaves a smaller window to prepare for opponents. And I mean, in general, there's been a shift in the Siege comp community to do more internal reviews as opposed to being prepared necessarily for a specific opponent or the specific way that they play. For sure, teams do VOD ahead and make sure they know what they will be taking on, but there's also a greater shift towards making sure that you're doing the right thing. I think it was Dark Zero in one of their documentaries spoke that heading into this second stage of the global program, that they put a heavy emphasis on looking inwards instead of outwards. They were a team that traditionally spent a lot of time looked outside, looked at other teams. What were they doing? What could they do to counter that? But instead, they're sort of taking the approach of what a team's going to do to counter us, if that makes sense. And maybe that's something that Rhythm have done going into this game. They just said, we're taking on Wildcard. Probably not a whole massive point in trying to counter the way they played because they are so strong. Let's just do the best that we can, bring that to the table, and make Wildcard try and play on our terms a little bit more.
Definitely agree with that one. Good old Guzman. In terms of who's going to win this overtime, though, I think I almost don't even want to ask predictions. I don't even want to ask thoughts. I just want to see it play out. I really, really cannot wait for this rehost to end, so we can get back into this overtime and see how it all ends. I mean, no secret that everyone predicted Wildcard, even the community vote. Everyone was obviously voting for Wildcard. So at this point, it feels like Rhythm are just sort of sticking it to everyone and saying, hey, we're not as bad as you guys think. Also, just touching on Stick coming in as the sub has been not so bad when you consider going up against Wildcard. I mean, how much time has Stick had at this sort of level? I'm not sure if this was like a last minute thing or not. I don't know the specifics there, but just a good shout out to what we thought in the first round, SSJ. And still, I don't even want to go back to those moments.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't believe it took me that long to figure out it was meant to be like Super Saiyan.
I mean, putting yourself in Stick's shoes, right? Heading into this matchup, he's probably quite nervous, as he would be. I'm sure plenty of the players in the server heading in would have been quite nervous, particularly for Rhythm. So the fact that it's his first official on this team against Wildcard, it doesn't get much more high pressure than that. It's one way to sort of get dip your toes into the deep end sort of thing, right? Like, it doesn't get much harder than that for your first game.
It's interesting you say that too, because we saw Digital say he was apparently quite nervous over the first 2 games last week, right? So even some of the veterans and the guys who we probably don't expect to have nerves, maybe with some nerves here. I'm not to say that Wildcard came into this nervous, and what I will say, it to me doesn't look like anyone from Rhythm came into this nervous. They came in and they looked like they had a game plan and they've executed it really, really well. So they've deserved all of the plaudits, and for Wildcard, they haven't looked horrible. And this is the good thing as well, right? This is not like the case of like, oh, how is Rhythm doing this? Wildcard are playing so bad, blah, blah, blah. But like, Wildcard haven't looked horrible. And that's a really good sign for Rhythm that they're playing against Wildcard. And Wildcard's not probably having their worst game that I've seen from them. So it's just a good old-fashioned Rainbow Six match that is just going to go either way.
Now, I'm happy that this match went to Coastline in the end. I think on any of the other more structured maps in particular,
yeah,
particularly the Holy Trinity, if you would, Wildcard, I can't think but would have been more dominant, which, I mean, raises the other question. Why did Wildcard let this map slip through? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they're expecting they could be a little bit more gun heavy, as I sort of mentioned earlier, and a little bit more confident so far. That hasn't quite been the case, but who knows? Wildcard on the attack though, so oof, that's a ugh, I can't help but feel that this will go Wildcard. Even if Rhythm do win one attack, Wildcard can then default back to the attack, and they should close it out, I would think.
Well, 6-6. Wildcard on the attack. Right now, both teams, if you've just tuned in or if you've just been watching, they have both been more dominant on the attack than the defense, for instance. So, hashtag OCN tweets if you want to get involved and steal the limelight away from Ducky. He always tries to find his way onto the broadcast. Teams, I was about to read it out. That's all right. Whatever. You know what? I shouldn't have even started reading any of that gibberish out from him.
Probably didn't make any sense, let's be honest.
Probably.
It was Ducky. It's not
Yeah.
like he's a journalist or anything. Surely he's not that good with words.
Big opportunity though for Rhythm here coming into overtime. They did pick up 2 round wins on defense in that second half, and both of them were in the last 3 rounds of the half. So it was Wildcard who came out like a missile in that second half to sort of wrestle back the lead and stop the Rhythm momentum. But towards the back end of the second half, for Rhythm's defense, guys, they did find a couple of round wins.
Indeed, they did. That rehost, though, may have thrown a spanner in the works in terms of the momentum game, and yet to see who might have benefited from that, or if anyone really has benefited from it. Only 2 minutes left in this round, though, however. Again, Rhythm holding above. Wildcard looking to try and displace this, try and find an opening. It's Vinny on the Ash. Droning now to try and locate where these players are positioned. It's Stick and Boats hand in hand over towards Theatre, and I mean, maybe they'll just fall back now. The wall has been open. Stick actually, it's going to stick it out, if you would. Droned out by Diesel. This is going to be quite a challenging hold of Theatre.
I like it. Getting involved on the puns, that's not good though for Stick. Definitely wouldn't like that. Vince, just at the right time. Sometimes it all just comes down to timing. And Rhythm have not had a good history when they don't get the opening frag, when they're down a player, of being able to get back into the round and turn it around into their own advantage. So 3 close by to site, 2 literally on site. Wildcard have basically got the map. They've got the entire map, essentially, from this point onwards with a minute to go, guys.
They have the map. Question is, can they convert that? Vinny with a double. Good start from him, and that makes it very, very, very challenging for Rhythm now. No real opportunity for them to retake above. They'll have to hold side, and with all this intel being gathered, that's going to be even more increasingly difficult. Might be a service store plant here, potentially from Wildcard, as Vinny ends up finding 3.
Wow.
This round has definitely gone the way of Wildcard, as we probably expected. Rhythm just not having any response.
Boats and Leb, the last to align for Rhythm in this first overtime round. Wildcard did have match point. They did, unfortunately, forego that match point, though. Which then, of course, sent it to overtime, and now they'll have match point once again. Or will they? Maybe there's still a twist left in this tale, and it's been a very long story tale, this matchup. It's been a great read. One for the reread books, one to watch the VOD back. 27 seconds on the clock. Leb is down. Boats trying to get involved here. Can get Leb back up and still have enough time to defuse the diffuser. Leb actually gets Pap and is traded back immediately. And, well, that's the round. It all started with Vinny, and it all ended with Geo.
Wildcard now 1 round away from closing out the map. And of course, being overtime, we'll switch sides, and Rhythm are now on that favored side of the attack. Critical round to win. If it can be as clean as that last round from Wildcard was, then my oh my. That final round could be quite the interesting one. Change of site, Hookah Billiards. Rhythm have not defended this site successfully, I believe, if I am reading the spreadsheet correctly. They attempted it twice and lost it twice. So that's a slightly interesting decision. I'm surprised that... Actually, no. Why? I'm reading this... No, I'm reading it wrong. I'm reading it wrong, Xenox.
You are.
I am reading it wrong.
It's 1-1 on the attack for Rhythm.
Yes, it is. I was looking at Rhythm's defenses.
Attackers need to locate and
Because I
defuse bombs.
am very confused. This has been a long map. And every time it's a long map, I just say really...
That's okay. We love you
silly
guys.
things. Can I make my point again, but actually say the right stuff?
Yeah, go. Just start it over. Start it over.
Okay, so Wildcard, they have defended this site twice, and they've won it once. So that's a 50% win rate, which means that Rhythm might be able to win this round, or they might lose it. That's some very deep analysis.
Jesus. You've blown my mind.
Thank you.
10 seconds.
Well, Rhythm have blown my expectations, though, and fair credit to them if
5 seconds.
their run does come to an end here. Or can they send it to at least 7-7 for the second Playday in a row? Of course, they did lose 8-7 to Elevate in Playday 2 last week. Maybe this time they'll... The thing is, they're going to have to win 2 in a row. 2 rounds in a row. They haven't done that since rounds 5 and 6, which they were attacking. It's been a while for Rhythm. Of course, the second half of this match has been mostly Wildcard. Rhythm just doing enough to at least send it to OT after their 4-2 first half, which has sort of been the story between these two teams right now. As Rhythm came out attacking literally in that first half, on fire, 4-2, and then Wildcard turned it back around, and here we are, OT. Attacking side still favored. Now it's over to Rhythm's turn to take that favor and see if they can find another round win.
Scary thing already here for Rhythm is we're 1 minute into the round and they've already lost half their drones. 5 drones taken down. And that's massive when you have players like Emo Rin, who have been roaming quite a bit, Vinny as well. You see them both a long way away from the objective on this occasion. That could pose a big threat later on if Rhythm don't have enough drones to watch those flanks.
You know what I just remembered is I actually made a bet at the start of this. I said if Rhythm win, I'd rock the Mo. I just remembered that.
And I said I'd get rid of my Mo. Oh God, I'm going to look like 6 years old. Jeez. Maybe
Come on, Rhythm, do it. Do it for 6-year-old guards.
At least my analysis would then fit my look. Am I right?
Minute 15 seconds remaining in this overtime match point. Vinny's just been impeccable. So has Gio. Really just feels like everyone in this match has deserved a big pat on the back. Oh, whoa! Vinny, calm down. These people have got families.
It's a big pick. Diffuse it down, collected by boats, and it looks like now Rhythm need to seriously consider how they're going to head in towards side. It's looking like it will be an aqua take, and they are aware of that wild card, but as they find a pick, the hope of Rhythm is dwindling. Smoke's out as well. I think Rhythm will be forced to try and refrag this out, and in a 3-on-5, surely they'll lose out.
Oh, Boat's just taking a big chunk of damage as well. Stick just trying to find a bit of a roam. Imran sitting a Vaz just going to catch Stick off guard. 2-5. E1D going to go out as well, but Drex is, 1v5 to try and clutch it out.
Seconds to go.
Fortunately, no one's going to have to see Babyface Guz or Moman myself. It's Wildcard with a win. A close one. 8-6 in the end in overtime against Rhythm. Hard-fought victory indeed, Guz.
Good performance from Wildcard, at least to get those points on the board. Good comeback from their loss against Noble on Friday night, and a good performance still from Rhythm to head that into overtime. 2 maps straight in the season. Very, very admirable effort from them. Not sure what the key takeaways necessarily are from that map. It definitely felt like, for the most part, Rhythm played quite well, so I'm not sure exactly what unraveled them there in overtime. Just felt like Wildcard flicked the switch, hit another gear, and were able to sort of bring that next level that maybe Rhythm couldn't just quite find.
Yeah. I think in terms of the key takeaways from this is that Rhythm is here to play this season. I I don't want to make too many big predictions for them though, guys. This is the problem, right? Do they make it out of bottom 2 based off that? Maybe, right? I think they've set themselves up for expectations this season. Maybe expectations that we didn't have of them at the very beginning, based off of the Elevate matchup, and especially based off of what we've seen from Elevate. Now, based off this performance against Wildcard, when Rhythm take on teams that are just slightly above them or around their level, it's not going to be as one-sided as we thought it would be, and it's not going to be the team that everyone just looks at as like, okay, we're going to get a win here. It's going to be guaranteed. It's Rhythm. That ain't the case anymore. And I think that's what they've deserved from this matchup, is that they deserve more respect moving forward, probably even from us as well, and that they can do it. They can get out of bottom 2. For Wildcard, I think this is a really good win for them. I think they played well. They played well against a team that was playing well on a map that suited that other team, and a hard-fought victory. Doesn't mean they played bad. I thought Vinny was great, Gio was great, and they look really good still.
Yeah, and I mean, back on the topic of Rhythm, I still can't help but feel that they are maybe still fighting for relegations, because if you look ahead, where are they realistically going to be winning these games? Because yes, they've come close, don't get me wrong, they've played very, very well, but heading games into overtime doesn't get you any points. You're still getting 0 points at the end of the day. So, I mean, they've got, what, Ferox on Friday, then LFO, then Noble, then PK. So, are any of those realistically a winning opportunity? You could say maybe LFO, but if they only win 1 of those next 4 matches, that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, and that's probably the problem, I guess, for Rhythm, is you don't really get anything out of sending it to OT. If you got like half a point, maybe they'd be on 1 point right now. You get another one from getting a second win. Who knows? But that's not the case. Let's go to our interviews, though. I do believe it is Silex who is first up. Silex obviously should be pretty happy with that one, I guess, because you did come away with the win. And honestly, from our perspective, I thought Rhythm played really well and gave you a really good fight there on a map that probably suits them more than it suits you guys.
Hey guys, yeah, Rhythm played pretty well. They had some pretty solid attacks. At the same time, though, we gave ourselves a lot of free picks, made some pretty amateur mistakes ourselves. So, like, not meaning to take anything away from Rhythm, but yeah, still some things that we need to work on our defensive side.
Yeah, and I guess the only real question I sort of had would be in regards to the map veto. Was Coastline a target for you guys heading into tonight? Because at least from my thought process, I would have thought that Wildcard would try and head us to maybe one of the more traditional ANZ maps where you've played quite well in the past. So was Coastline, as I mentioned, like, were you trying to head there, or was that maybe throwing you off guard a little bit?
Yeah, so we actually got the vetoes down to the 2 maps that we wanted, Club or Coast, and we eventually decided on Coastline, primarily because we've got the last 2 VODs that we can kind of go off for Rhythm, and they played pretty much similar, so we knew what was going on, and yeah, we prepared accordingly.
Makes sense.
It does. Last one before you let you go. Obviously, for you guys, another win. A bit of a redemption as well, because he did drop a map last week, but obviously finals should be assured. Is it all about just building towards finals? Is that the goal for you guys? Just get that synchronized. Obviously, Vinny's doing great. He looks like he's fitting in perfectly, but to just get to that eventual perfect form come finals time?
Oh yeah, of course. We're always like striving to become better. And each map, you got to like make sure you play your best in each of those. So whilst finals are on our minds and we need to prepare ourselves for that, we got to make it through the regulation stage as well, and come off with like 1st or 2nd seed.
Definitely. Well, that was certainly, in my opinion, still a really, really good performance from you guys. And if you've got improvements ahead of you, then I feel sorry for everyone else that has to play you guys in the back end of the season. Best of luck on Friday. I don't actually know who you're playing, so best of luck. Elevate. There you go. That's a good game. That's going to be a good game.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for saving the day, guys. I can always count on you.
Always got you.
That's good. So, obviously, for Wildcard, I think it goes without saying, as I said, playoffs, finals, whatever you want to call it, is going to be where they will shine the most. Vinny just doesn't even look like he's missed a beat. I think Gio's was, again, incredible in this matchup. Unfortunately, though, for Rhythm, as you said, they don't get any points from this. Wildcard do. They will be more than fine for playoffs. Do they get the top seed, though? Because we'll get to this soon, but I don't have Noble losing. We'll touch on that later. So is second place good enough for Wildcard? Are they going to be happy with finishing second?
It's difficult to say just because we don't know exactly how the rest of the standings will shape up. I think, honestly, being anywhere in the top 3 or even the top 6, really, it's good enough to at least make the playoffs. Of course, if you finish higher up, the seeding will aid you. To answer your question more specifically, second will be fine. I honestly still see Wildcard finishing first. Again, we'll touch on that a little bit later, but I don't know. They're not going to be too upset if they finish second, because when you think about it in the long term, all they need to do is finish third here in OCN, or in the top 3 in OCN, in the playoffs to make that major. And that's where the real impact is. That's where they actually get the points for SI 2021, which is their ultimate goal.
Well, the ultimate goal for Yoshi and for Rhythm would have been to get the win against Wildcard, especially once we saw the picture present itself, mate. It was so close to pulling off what would have probably been the upset of the season. But while you didn't get the win, you've got to be still incredibly proud of the boys for what they were able to achieve in this match.
Yeah, honestly, it was wonderful to see them play. Like we took a different approach to the pre-game. I think it was a lot more hype than it usually was, and I think that showed in the first couple of rounds with how the boys were playing. Obviously, having Stick come in on late notice was pretty tough, but they made it really work on attacks.
Yeah, that sort of leads into my first question. Stick joining the roster, and I mean, as you said, quite last minute. How did he sort of slot into the role that was assigned to him? It looked to us like Stick was playing quite well, but what was it from your perspective?
So we found out on Monday that Bouncin had to get his wisdom teeth out. So obviously he wasn't really fit to speak tonight. So Stick jumped in for scrims on Tuesday night. And it was a bit rough to start off with, but I mean, hats off to Stick, to be honest. Like, he played outstanding for the position he was in, and he did exactly what we needed when we needed it. And yeah, I got nothing but good things to say about him.
Did you have a second one there, Guz? Because you did say first question.
Did I say first? Well, it was the first main question. You can follow it up with a second if you want.
I just sort of wanted to touch on, I guess, the expectations as to what would be a successful season. Is that just avoiding bottom 2, or is it just the development in the games? Because one thing I've sort of been harping on about is that you guys as a team, of course, a very different roster to what was Kanga Esports in Six Masters, and I felt like Kanga Esports was on the downward, but you guys are on the upward. But because it's still starting from the bottom, you're going to have the results necessarily not translate to wins, but the in-game performances are going to increase. Do you feel like that has been the case based off Elevate, now Wildcard, moving forward? And then does that mean, based off those improvements, that it's all about just avoiding bottom 2?
I think, look, we'll go into each game and play that game how it goes. You know, we're taking each game one at a time, to be honest, at this point in time. But I mean, our goal is obviously to make that top 6 and get into the playoffs. I think we're very much capable of that, and we've shown that in the last 2 matches. So, you know, once Bouncin is recovered, I think Friday's match will be a pretty good one. I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely agree with you, mate. You guys have been playing really, really good, and it just feels like that win is just right around the corner. Maybe it'll be there on Friday. Wish you the best of luck.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Have a good night, gents.
Well, I mean, we've touched on just about everything in what was probably the match of the night, although we don't know. We've still got 2 more to come. Guys, we didn't think that would be the one that would highlight itself out of the Playday today, but it certainly was, of course, for Rhythm, just falling short 6-8 in favor of Wildcard there on Coastline. And as Yoshi sort of said, the goal is obviously top 6, and their goal is winning. And I think I mentioned it on the reload that their mindset is to win every single game. It's not about honorable losses. It's not about trying to make it 7-5 against Wildcard. It's about winning. And once you have that mindset, you see it. Well, they fell short against Elevate. They fell short against Wildcard. I don't know who they're playing on Friday, but I'd be pretty worried. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, Yoshi himself said that tomorrow would be, Friday rather, would be a banging match, and it's against Ferox. And I'd say that honestly a decent chance. Like I might even pick them. I don't know. I might even pick them back into that one. We'll have to see how Ferox play later tonight. But if Rhythm can keep up this good form and continue to improve I'm sure there'll be a really, really good shot at trying to avoid the relegations.
Well, we'll have to wait, of course. We're going to go to a break on the other side. We still have 2 more matches, so you do not want to go anywhere.